Welcome along, boys. We are finally back with another race. It's the SimRacingOnline BTCC 1990s series, brought to you by eitharacingteam as always. And yeah, it's good to be back, guys. And we are at Brands Hatch, such a legendary track for British motorsports. And what a category we have today for you guys. It's a new one. We haven't streamed anything regarding these type of cars ever, pretty much. So it's nice bringing the streams back with such a weird type of content for us. And I'm forever joined by Ricardo Riva and Nassim Alawi, as always.
Hello,
Oh,
guys.
absolutely, Lorenzo. This is series going to be awesome. I believe people need to have a need to witness what happened back in the '90s and see the legendary racing that happened back then, closed door-to-door racing. Don't you think so, Ricardo?
Uh, to be honest, guys, I'm a huge fan of this category. Very huge fan. It was pitiful that I born like at the end when this category was dying. But I'm a huge fan. Most of people who knows this category probably knows it by the amazing Toka 2 race driver game from from PS1. At least people my age, because I'm 25 years old. So as I said, the category was actually dying after the beautiful peak this car had. And yeah, I'm a huge fan and I'm a huge nerd of these cars. To be honest, guys. What to say? Front wheel drive cars. So as you see. Uh, Very easy to drive. You have to be good on the release the throttle in the middle of the corner to make the car turn. 2-liter naturally aspirated engines, so basically amazingly sounding engines. And I think these cars have four two different types of engines, because the Volvo, which are looking right now by Kirillov, with an amazing livery, is a straight five inline five cylinders, while the two other cars are a straight four inline four. Yeah, 2 liters, around over 300 horsepower, so like the modern TCRs. But I really think this car looks amazing. I mean, this car looks glorious, guys.
It absolutely does, Ricardo. 100% agree. I mean, the as we see right now, we have Kirillov. I mean, we're gonna have to get used to the names. Some names we've been through with them in the past championship. If you didn't see him, make sure you check out Sim Racing Online and their YouTube channel. All the VODs are stored. Some of the familiar names we've already seen in other championships are already presented here, and it's good to see some familiar names, including Usama Nani. Actually, the guys I've driven with, Paul Apem, Brown, and many other more. John Vidiguest, obviously, the man of
Yeah,
the head of the table.
Big
actually,
shout
Nas
out to John
Brown.
Villegas. He completed
Yeah,
his recovery and he's finally feeling well. This is his first race, I think, in a few months actually. So it's good to see him back.
yeah, and the brown guy is not Joe, which we used to see on the GTE class. It's Phil Brown. I don't know if they are related in a kind of way. Really don't know, but anyway, as we can see, we are already into the quali, guys. Brands Hatch, difficult track for these cars, especially because you have long, um, long turns. You have to be very careful with the front wheel drive because you have these cars suffer a lot of understeer, obviously. So it's going to be fun, and I already see a couple of guys making some different work from the other, because Phil Brown made an amazing time, with like 2 seconds away from P3 between Brown and Kirill.
I mean, take a look at these cars, Ricardo, and everybody watching. This is a blast. People probably don't know that this is one of the great series that made racing so great. It made what cars we have now. Because, for example, when we had the Volvo, everybody thought that car was going to be slow, but then when everybody saw how fast it is, everybody wanted to get included. They got the Honda Accord, and many more cars just decided to join. I mean, obviously the series got killed in the final 90s, but then this series made what racing what it is today. It's actually one of the greatest racing, and you're about to see that. Hopefully, we get some hot action today. And yeah, you're gonna be a witness of this. Don't you think, Lorenzo? Are you happy about this? I am actually. I want to know.
I am because I am unlike Ricardo. I didn't know many things about this series. I was into the Grand Touring scene, but from the early 2000s, I would say. So I didn't really get to see these cars at all. Pretty much up until a couple of years ago when I met Ricardo and we started talking about this. And it's great. It's great to see people are interested in door-to-door racing because I get the impression that not only in automobile sports or car racing in general, people are getting petty, and I think that is one of the main reasons why people stopped watching DTM back in, I would say, 2016 was the the worst year that kind of initiated the process with which DTM switched to the GT3 cars. With these type of cars do not exist anymore, and that's what is fascinating to me.
Yeah, we were talking about it just yesterday, if you remember, Laura. And we've been watching some videos, for example, from the Italian Super Touring, which had the same exact cars that are racing right now. Maybe a couple of manufacturers more, because we only have 3 manufacturers on this mod. But I remember looking at Varano, which is like my home track in Parma, near Parma. It was completely full of people watching the Italian Super Touring Cup. Not to mention, we just look at some videos from BTCC, which was the top category for these cars, the top class, we can say. Uh, and remember, Laura, looking Brands Hatch was amazingly. The whole circuit was full of people everywhere. There was a lot of people, and I really think that these cars were the pinnacle of touring cars. As much of car lovers say, this was the pinnacle of touring because these cars were actually easy to build because they were like came directly down from stock cars. So practically every manufacturer had his own car. We're talking about BMW, Peugeot, Honda, Audi, Alfa Romeo, Vauxhall, which is Opel. We're talking about Volvo. We're talking about Nissan. We're talking about I don't remember even
Rover, many
Rover.
cars.
Yeah,
Renault as well.
Renaults, not to mention the Renaults. So technically, every car manufacturer had his own super touring cars, yeah, and every single state in the world had its own super touring car championship. It was an amazing category. Speaking by why, funny thing is that the 3 cars we have right now, the Volvo, the Nissan, and the Vauxhall Vectra, are not the same generation of super touring cars because the Nissan and Volvo are the latest one. So by the end of the category, while this Vauxhall Vectra is not the latest one, but the first one. So we see even how the super touring evolved through the years because you see this car is very much similar to the stock one. No wings, no aerodynamics, basically. While if you look at the Volvo, here we have one with the original livery. This was the one of the original livery on the end of 90s, by the end of 90s. You see a bit more worked body for aerodynamics. We have a wing. We have um, how is it
Speeders
called?
and
Yeah,
yeah,
shifter.
side skirts even.
Yeah, the shifter is different. we have a sequential one on these cars, while on the first generation we have a manual one. So a big, huge evolving on these cars.
There we see a nice onboard with Team Cartwright, which is improving, by the way, on his personal best. Although it may,
Ooh, as he goes
yeah,
out.
there we go, there we go.
Good job, Lorenzo. Good
I'm-
job.
As always, commentators curse, and sorry about that, team. But checker flag is in the air. It looks to me as nobody can match Phil Brown and Kitty Kirilov's time, 1:33.3. Such a great time here, Brent Satch. Paul Upham, incredible third place. Good to see Paul uh, getting grip of one of the cars. Probably lacks the most because I remember he was struggling to get along with both the GT1s and the GT3s.
Sorry,
And
to cut you off, but Kirillov on
ooh,
this last lap is doing a purple sector on the first sector, so menacing the Phil Brown pole position right now. Amazing job by Kirillov with a custom livery, I think.
oh,
Uh,
he has to be careful. There's a lap car
oh,
ahead of
another
him.
purple sector. Wait, I think he's going to the pole. I think he's getting the pole. Let's see.
Just a couple corners up until we find out. There we go, under the bridge. Heavy braking into the right-hander.
See how the car moved back.
I think he's gonna get it. He's
On
gonna
the
get
end.
it.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I
I
think
believe so.
It's
yes.
a
And he does.
1:33.0. Amazing lap time.
Astonishing.
He smashed his previous time. Kirillov gets pole position, and Phil Brown can only sit and watch. He needs to do something about that. Uh, Probably at the beginning of the race, I think the start will be critical. As here in Brands, such it's very difficult to overtake. Um, but nonetheless, a great qualifying as we see a very close midfield as well, all the way from P3 to P7, pretty much 1/10 of a second contains four cars, so it's pretty closed up, I would say.
Yeah, except from the guys in the top two, which are doing something different from the others right now. Um, so as we see Kirillov first with his Volvo S40 with an amazing time made off on the last possibility, and second position. Oh, I didn't see it anymore. Phil Brown with his Vauxhall Vectra. Then we got Paul Apam with another Volvo and another Vauxhall Vectra by Flavio Bordzga. Then we have another Volvo with Osama Knani, another Vauxhall. Many guys on Volvos and
Yeah,
Vauxhall.
Robin Taylor as well in P7, then John VDS in P9 with another Volvo. Many Volvos. Uh, Nobody seems to have picked up the Nissan Primera for some reason.
I think
Uh,
there's one,
There is one. There is one.
or
um,
at least there was.
There is one, I believe. I'm gonna check
Oh,
once again.
we saw one during the free practices.
Yeah, it's still there. I think it's in the P. It's P11. It's driven by Nun Bansemi. And that is
oh,
not our director. That is another Sammy from Sim Racing Online. Actually, guys, I want to give you a bit of a heads up about Kirill, as we haven't seen him much in. I think we have never seen him in any of our broadcasts we did. The guy is a four-time championship in Sim Racing Online with more than 36 wins. So this guy is not to be messed with. He won so many
No,
championship
actually,
in different cars, in WTCC, in a GCW, the Mini, in the Lancia, in the Tatus A1, I forgot the name. It's a 01 something. It's like a Formula old car. Formula Abarth, if I remember correctly. This guy is an absolute beast, so he's not to be messed with. Everywhere he goes, he dominates. So we expect to be a fierce battle between him and Paul Apham, because it seems to me, guys, that they're taking a battle, the battle for the second and first. It's gonna be like between them and them only, I believe. So obviously, if nothing happens in turn one.
Turn one will be critical, of course. A very long downhill section before we go up the hill once again into Druids. Druids will be, I think, the most ideal place to try and overtake because that's the heaviest braking zone that we have here at Brands Hatch. Um,
oh,
I think the start will be critical for Mark Hyther as well. Many guys here will be on the move, I'm sure.
look at
100%.
this. Oh,
on
I
the
mean,
edge. These cars
I mean,
allow you to go slightly on the gravel. If that would have been a Formula car or a prototype, you would have destroyed the floor pretty much. But these cars are made of a different steel, and it's
yeah.
great to see this type of racing here on Sim Racing Online. And of course, guys, this is only the first race of 6 total rounds. So if you want to be part of the championship, just go on Sim Racing Online
Yeah.
and
And
join.
one of the news is that these races are gonna take not every other week as we are used to, but every week actually, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct. That's correct. We're gonna see. Oh, there's a Nissan.
No,
there you go.
this is still a Vauxhall.
Oh, this is still the Vauxhall. I got
Yeah, yeah.
flash.
That's more.
You
I
baited
think
us, Lorenzo.
I think I saw no Nissans on the grid actually because Sammy was on a Vauxhall. Probably changed car because he didn't feel well with the Primera, which is a bit of pity because I think
I
the
mean, it's
Primera
still
is one of the
stating
best looking one.
with the live racers, Ricardo. It's still stating he's on a Nissan number 22.
I don't know. I was seeing in the grid
I mean,
with
we
a
can go
Vauxhall.
check him out right now.
Anyway,
He's still in
anyway,
the garage, so I don't know. Whenever he gets out, probably we can get a.
I don't think it's gonna get coming out. Yeah, that's a Vauxhall livery. Yeah, yeah, Vauxhall Sport Cavalier.
Indeed. Well, I mean, guys, we've got the recipe of a beautiful racing. I mean, uh, a four door, a saloon car, has to be driven by two wheels only. I mean, this is a recipe for like
And
close
glorious
bumper to
weather.
bumper racing.
I must say, I was expecting a bit of clouds since we were racing at Brands Hatch, but look at
Yeah,
the sun.
Indeed. I mean,
Absolutely beautiful weather.
I
And
don't think.
I think this is gonna get tricky for the guys behind. Um, because I'm not sure what the strategy is for this race. It's a 45-minute race.
mm, I think
Are we gonna see people pitting, or are we
I
gonna
don't.
see a straight up race all the way to the end?
Uh, to be honest, I don't really know how the mod works. Because yeah, actually, I'm a huge fan of this class, but I can't race because my lovely wheel gave up to me, and I'm waiting for the new one. So I didn't have the chance to try the mod a lot. Usually, these races are just in real life was like very sprint races, like 12, 13 laps, 25 to 30 minutes. And so I think we are not going to see any pits. I think it's going to be a full race uh, from the start to the end.
Speaking of the race, we're in the closing lines or the closing times for it as we see
One of the Volvos
somebody.
getting a bit
Yeah. I think
rally
he's checking the
style
outside. I think he
advanced.
wants to see a
Yeah,
preview, Lorenzo, of what happens.
I'll tell you what, Nas, the gravel trap here is unforgiving. You have to be really, really careful
Ooh, I mean,
on what you do. Although these cars do allow you to get, two tires on the dirt and
yeah,
kind of get away with it, but you have to be really, really careful.
Lorenzo, do you remember the flashback of the last corner there when somebody
Oh
decided to
no!
push us off? That I'll never forget. As everybody's getting ready to
Look
set up
at
their
this
setup.
grid.
I think we lost someone because we have 12
Yeah,
people right
we
now.
lost one. We
Sammy,
lost one
probably.
car.
Sammy Vera, probably.
Oh, there we go. I think we're just moments before the formation lap.
I don't know if there's a formation or probably.
It's
Yeah,
actually
Sammy's
Sammy on the
starting.
left.
He's starting.
Oh, okay,
He's
so
starting.
we have started right
Oh, and
away.
we already see some contacts, like the real one.
Oh,
Ooh,
and look at Phil
and there
Brown
we go. The
under
first
pressure.
victim.
Oh, and a big crash behind.
Holy.
What happened there?
I have no
No
idea. I
super,
think
Big
somebody was
contact.
turning left.
no super touring race is complete without a huge crash at the start.
Kirillov then leads the race from Phil Brown. Samagnani with a great start. He's up in P3 and already harassing Phil Brown. Then it's Flavio Botka with that very recognizable red livery. There we see Nani going for the inside on Phil Brown, and he's up to P2. What a start!
What a start indeed. I mean, we saw the first crash. Absolutely, turn one never escapes that. It's hard to, especially with these cars close racing. Kirill already building a lead for himself at the top. I mean, you can see already leaving the pack behind a little bit. Hopefully, he keeps that pace. But the rest of the field, they're side by side, bumper to bumper, actually, I would say. But soon to be side by side because Brand Hatch, we know it's a short track, but so many opportunities to get your overtake, especially if you make a mistake.
Yeah, the opportunities are very low, to be honest. Especially with these cars with a lot of understeer, because this car tends you to push you wide into the corner, and your driving style has to be a lot different than what we used to. And as I speak, Osama Nani seems to be able to match Kirillov's pace. Uh, Look at how much understeer they got. You have to be very, very good on calculating how much understeer is the car is going to give you when you drive a front wheel drive. I think this is the first front wheel drive championship we broadcast, guys.
That is correct. I mean, if you
Oh, look at
ooh, look at that slide and still
Phil
saves it.
Brown with a finished slide at Druids. Still saved it, but he lost a bit of time there. Regards to Osama. Osama already 7 tenths behind Kirillov. What a start.
yeah, he was struggling a lot during the quali. Probably worked for the race actually.
I am surprised Nani is keeping up with. I mean, not to take anything from Nani, but for judging from the qualifying, it looked like he would be nowhere near the Kirill, but he's actually doing a good job staying up with him. Or obviously, it could be that Kirill is watching out for his tires, but I mean, it's a 45 minute. What are you going to watch out for? Unless you want to be careful, because some cars, we know the degradation, when it kicks in, your car becomes terribly slow. And for that, maybe Kev is being cautious, but I mean, look at that. Phil Brown is already been as
Nani's off.
Nani.
Nani's off.
He is off,
He
but managed
rejoins
to
the
get
track, but
back.
he lost the place. What a brilliant pass by Phil Brown. Says thank you very much. Many battles going on, guys. We see John Villegas very, very close with Cartwright and Bolska as well.
Yeah, there's
Right behind this path.
close midfield right there.
Not
And
really
that's
guess was
what you that's just what you expect from this car. Bump to bump, no worries if there's a touch or anything else. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go see some highlights from BTCC races. I mean, those were cars that were meant to be like tough and resistant because the drivers really were criminals, to be honest.
That's absolutely true, Ricardo, because we're talking street cars ripped off, put on some racing gears, racing stuff, and boom, there you go,
And
voila.
there's a first guy into the pits is Taylor. And there's a car off. I think that's Glani again. Yes, that's Osama Glani
It is.
again.
Oh my God,
He was
that is
probably
nice.
I think he has damage. I think he has damage. Look at
Might
that.
have collected
The
it,
car
you're right.
was moving in a weird manner. Not sure why that is. Is now P6 behind John Villegas. Not the guy you want to find yourself behind.
I think he overhit the front. Oh, that's a dangerous.
Ooh, so dangerous.
Overtake.
On the inside,
Nice,
and he makes it safe.
nice one, very
Beautiful
nice one.
path.
But John Villegas is not giving up. And Villegas,
Ooh, and the touch.
Oh my
And
Lord.
Uzama is almost around. Good save by the
He went
driver.
sideways there. I mean,
and
so,
he has
that
no
was save.
No. Oh,
he's
look at
taking a
Oh,
beat
it's
up.
on now. Usama Nani now on the side of John
Closes
Villegas.
the door,
Slams the
right?
door. What a beautiful battle we have here.
That's some action, guys. And then
John Villegas will be
for fifth place.
absolutely
As we see
furious.
that fighting with Botsga.
Look at that. It's so close. It's so hard to judge what's going to happen next corner. I mean, Usama Nani has took a lot of beating going all the way from P2. He's now sitting in P5. He's not too far, actually, but still, we got 39 minutes to go. So let's see what happened to Nani from now on.
And Kirillov, of course, the main winner from this situation, is now almost 2 seconds clear from everybody else. Nani again struggling to keep that car on the road. Not sure if he might have front damage or. Oh, and Villegas is
There you
around.
go. Spin.
Just
That's right.
John Villegas around before
That
the uphill section, and Michael Abel comes around and overtakes him for what is effectively now 8th place.
Yeah.
That was not
Guys,
skids for the kids.
do not underestimate the oversteer in the corner entry with these cars, because you have a very, very light rear. So when you throw the car in, you have all the balance, all the weight on the front of the car because of the front wheel drive, because of the front engine. So the car is very, very understeery on the entry, and it's like what you want, because it's easier to make this car turn, considering that when you are going to apply your throttle, this car is going crazy on the understeer as we speak. Hilton,
That's Anthony Hilton with Mark Hythree. That's for 6th place. Hythree having to protect from Hilton, which seems to be slightly faster on the straight at least. The Volvo not conceding any space though, as they go around Druids once again.
I mean, it's what we expected, guys. It's Kirill, Phil Brown taking the fight for the lead. Tim Cartwright as well. He's not too far, but I believe it's a bit too late unless something happens between Phil. Actually, Phil is actually keeping up really well with Kirill, judging by what happened first. Obviously, he didn't get any damage, but...
And keep an eye on Nani, guys, because he's harassing Vodka once again. Those guys are very, very close together. And this is for P4, effectively. They're chasing Cartwright.
I mean, there was a lot of changes happening to R Factor 2, so I'm sure physics and so many things have been changed to the best or to the worst. You be the judge, but we cannot give our opinion right now. But to be honest,
and Nani once again.
Look at him once again going
on
to
the
that.
gravel.
Nani is really pushing a bit too far, probably.
This is something we've seen too many times from Nani. He needs to work on this, that he absolutely always, whenever he pulls a great time, his pace or consistency, I would say, never seems to be paying off or doing what he's supposed to do in terms of consistency. I mean, we see him doing the same mistake in 2 corners, and this is something you cannot afford in a sprint race, can you?
Oh, and right behind them, Hilton has got a problem because he is now effectively protecting from Mark Hythree, which is absolutely close together with them. Look at this for a battle. I think.
Oh my lord!
Wasn't it the other way around the last time we checked?
It probably was Lorenzo. I mean, look how close they are. He shut the door down. Did you see that?
Should be. Yeah, you are right.
Hilton so overtakes Mark Hythree for P6.
He's not letting him go anywhere. I mean,
I'd say the battle that we need to focus now is Flavio Bosca and Cartwright for P3, because that's a direct skirmish for the podium. Phil Brown at the moment does not seem to have an answer to Kirillov's pace. He's 2.4 seconds clear now.
Yeah, to be honest, it's not that far from the Kirillov's pace, but it's like he's losing constantly a couple of tenths per lap. So I probably that's because of the huge gap between the two guys. Even because Phil Brown was involved with a bit of bagarre with Osama Ghani. And Kurlos seems to have find a pretty
Paul
Lapham taking the inside, and he's trying. He actually made the move there.
I think Paul Lapham was one of the guys involved in the first corner incident. Himself and Taylor, who unfortunately had to fix damage in the pit lane, and he's now 1 lap down effectively and out of contention.
I mean, surely he's making his way up, but let's see if he's gonna have enough time to at least make it to the top 5 or the top 4. He's not that far, to be honest.
Upon missing the apex there, and as Bosca is trying to close the gap between him and Cartwright, and I think he's doing that job.
He absolutely is.
Yeah, I think the real game changer will be front left. The guy who has the best setup or the best driving style to keep the the front left to be destroyed actually, because look how many corners you have to do pushing your left side, especially just because was telling you this was the front wheel drive. This is going to be a big problem.
Indeed,
Front left is going
Ricardo.
to be a big problem. So the guy who can manage fast that tire probably is gonna be the faster at the ending, at the end of the race. So let's see. As Bosca, as we see, is very very fast. Is quicker. Seems to be quicker than Cartwright at this stage of the race. Probably due to exactly. Oh, look at that! You see that? This is because of the wear of the left front tire. Look at how far is Cartwright from the apex right now.
I mean, speaking of that, what you said, Ricardo, was absolutely right because one of the fast corners we have, turning to the left, I mean, I believe
No,
it's
and
turn
Anthony
6 and 4.
Hilton
Anthony Hilton is out. I mean,
DNF.
he DNF'd. We have no idea how it happened, but he absolutely was out. Very unfortunate to see that in the first race with the so little cars, so many chances to win. So a DNF, something you don't really want. But
It
going
was
back to what you said,
P6 because he was fighting with High Tree.
it could be an internet problem. We're not sure. We'll update you on that if we get the information about it. But back to what you said, Ricardo. Absolutely true. I mean, look at this corner going down. You put all the pressure on the left tire, and you probably touched the outside. And once again, you got to put the pressure on it right here, where we see Nani make that mistake 2 times, which cost him a lot of position. Now he's sitting in the P5. Absolutely, you have to be cautious with your tires, not just to be fast, but also to not make a mistake. As we know, the sand here, it's more like a trap, isn't it, Ricardo?
It's absolutely a trap. I mean, going like do a 360 is not the big issue with this car, because if you feel like the car is oversteering, you just press your throttle down and get the car oversteering. But this can be the problem is that they're pushing you wide. So look at Cartwright on the first corner. Look how wide and how much speed he loses because of missing the apex. I think it was a bit better there. Yeah, definitely better. The problem is that the longer the race, the longer you have understeer, on these cars, the more slower your pace has to be, which sounds kind of obvious, but with front-wheel drive cars, it's pretty much the it's a huge problem to deal with tire consumption.
Indeed, Ricardo, and something that we probably would see in the upcoming races, especially if other people join, is the close-up race, and something that distinguishes this racing series from everything else. Everything else, the close-up racing. I mean, if you check out YouTube videos of the real thing of these cars, the racing is so close that it's so dangerous, and at the same time so exciting to watch, especially for the fans, as we see Kirill Light now leading the race, comfortably sitting in the P1, knowing that he probably got this in the bag, but a lot of things can happen because we have to remember this is not real life. This is a game. So absolutely, I mean, don't go on at me saying it's a game. I know it's a simulator, but what I'm trying to point out is that there could be internet problems, there could be hardware problems. I mean, real life too, but they don't have internet problems, but they have fuel. So it's kind of the same thing. Same. I mean, you lose one, you lose some, you win some, but you know what I'm trying to get the message is. But so far, Kill is doing a good job staying P1.
Absolutely, he's doing an amazing job. He seems to have a very balanced setup because I don't see him understeering or oversteering a lot. Look at that. His car seems to be extremely sharp. Um, Getting back to what you said about the close race in real life, that was one of the part of why this category was so loved. But the other thing is that pretty much every car was competitive. Every car could win races. Every car was fast. So the biggest part of the job was done by the drivers. And guys, we're talking about amazing drivers. Nigel Mansell, when he left the F1, went driving for Ford in BTCC. Especially BTCC drivers we had Tarquini moved his first steps into the BTCC with Alfa Romeo. Tarquini is one of the huge. It's a living legend for touring cars. Ivan Muller with Audi. We're talking about Richard Riedel with Volvo. Uh, Jason Plato, David Leslie with Nissan, and before with Vauxhall Cavalier. The car we are seeing
Ooh,
right now.
you have to check this out, Ricardo, as he's taking the inside right here, probably thinking about it. Hopefully they don't touch, because if they push him, he's going right to the sand.
Yeah, I think Villegas was pretty smart there, because that's not the corner where you want to make a move, because it's a long corner, pretty wide. So probably he would have ruined his race, but it seems that Villegas is quicker right now, even because he made that mistake. Because
Ooh, look at that. He's went wide there. Villegas see that, but know that this is probably not a good opportunity. He's got a straight line after this corner. Look at that mirror, so close to him. He's taking the inside. He has to make up some room for it.
He's gone.
He's doing side by side, and John Villegas makes the move.
Very nice done by Villegas there. And Winham was actually pretty kind with Villegas, something that it's not usual in super touring, because if you guys go check the real life, probably a super touring driver would have closed the door and get contact there. But
I mean,
pretty much clean by Winham and Villegas.
I have to, since you said that, Ricardo. I mean, there used to be two cars from the same teams who flipped each other, and I'm not lying or like being funny.
Yeah.
That actually happened. Teammates flipped each other cars. I mean, to me, actually, that's what made this racing so great. I mean, I understand regulation, billion safety requirements. I totally get that, because you don't want people dying, of course. But I mean, equally, you don't want boring races, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was reading an article in Italian a couple of days ago on the BTCC season 1992, one of the best one, and probably one of the first with the Super Touring class. And this guy was like saying that to be disqualified in BTCC in the 90s, you have to like kill somebody on the track, because you see people like cutting the corner and hitting opponents just to make the corner and overtake them. So it was crazy.
It was
And
absolutely crazy.
we are seeing a pretty good race, because Osama Gnani seemed to have closed the gap between him, Bosca, and Cartwright. And Bosca's gaining constantly on Cartwright. They seem to be on the same race pace. So it's going to be fun to see if some of the three have a quicker pace to like shake the things up.
Absolutely. I mean, the Flavi, if I'm saying correct, I'll call him Bosga since it's easy. He's actually now hunting the guy ahead of him, while Osama Nani also wants to join the party, like Ricardo mentioned. Not sure the outcome of this. Usama Nani needs to stay well on his consistency. I mean, we know for sure he's got the pace. He was actually keeping up with the leader for some time in the early stages of the race. But so far, as long as he can focus on his consistency, he absolutely can get involved in that battle, which is for the podium.
Yeah, he had a couple of mistakes, probably to match the leader's pace. He was like overdriving the car, and that's what I think, because the mistakes he made were and look again the difference in the lines, and Cartwright seemed to be very on the edge with his left tires. Look how he struggles.
So close. He's getting closer, sniffing that rear bumper, trying to understand how he's going to get through, but somehow he's waiting for I think if that's Stim, if not my mistaken, making a mistake, because this is an uphill, and we know that the back gets a little bit unstable, as we saw Villegas lost the rear end there just moments ago. He's looking out there, trying to get a good exit, also has to keep an eye on Usama Nani, hunting him from behind. This is a three-way battle for the podium.
Yeah, if I was Osama right now, I would just wait a bit, because he has still 25 minutes, which are a lot, considering that the lap is 130. So I would just stand back, watch, keep waiting for the right opportunity, because 20 seconds, I think that unless something happens to Brown and Kirillov, the Maxi... Oh! I was watching the mirror and look at Osama doing like
Oh, and there you go. The mood is made. Sorry, not the mood. The move is made. I couldn't even say it properly out there because I wasn't expecting. I'm sure you guys weren't, or Ricardo either. So that was an expected move. Actually, he was trying to go high or something. Maybe missed the apex, and he took that shot. And not Samanani also took an advantage of that.
Yeah, that was actually what I was talking about. You know, that's the typical mistake of a car with extremely hot tires and loses grip on the throttle and just gets you wide. Uh, that's kind of typical of front wheel drive cars. Uh, I mean, it's not. If you guys think about it. Um, People who usually drives rear wheel drive cars usually suck at driving front wheel drive cars because they have a completely different driving style. That's why most of the drivers that we see in WTCR now, and they were like in WTCC or even BTCC for someone, are like only staying on the front wheel drive cars. That's the reason, because driving a front wheel drive car and driving a rear wheel drive car, it's a completely different pace, completely different technique. Uh, it's very, very hard to switch to one another.
Indeed, Ricardo. Something I want to mention. It looks like the front right of the tire or sorry, the front left tire of Nani should it's a little bit more worn out than it should be. Or let's just compare him to the guy he's fighting, boss guy ahead of him. So maybe that's because I saw in the high speed corners. Just look at that. He loses the most time, but
Yeah,
when it comes to braking, it looks like Nani has the advantage.
yeah, probably is braking a bit deeper.
Look at that. Look how
Look at,
close
look
he
at that.
gets.
Yeah, he's definitely braking deeper, but probably because of the braking, he's overheating his tires on the braking and using less grip to keep the corner. So that's quite interesting because we are seeing two different type of styles. Um, you see, Osama deciding to brake later and sacrifice the corner in speed, and Vodka making a more cleaner line, braking just a little bit earlier, and not stress the front tire. That can be decisive on the ending stages of the race. And as we speak, Cartwright seems to be faster than Osama right now.
He did catch up. Obviously, the mistake that he made didn't cost him much because he wasn't sent to the Shadow Realm or to the Sand Realm, if you want to call it. But look at that. Osama once again touches that grass. Definitely not what you want to do. You should probably, because now I understand the frustration of losing so many positions, but the comeback he made is so great. So he needs to watch out for his tires because he's definitely overdriving, like you mentioned, Ricardo. Sometimes, not all the times. I mean, look at that.
Yep,
Speaking of which, he definitely once again goes to the outside. This is keeping me on my toes, Ricardo.
absolutely, absolutely. Actually, I'm kind of incorrect because there was one super touring car with rear wheel drive, which was the BMW car that we don't have right now. Probably, I would say that if the BMW, look at that, look at Osama, look at how much understeer.
Ooh, that's probably because of the tires, Ricardo. He's suffering
Yeah.
a lot. He pushed
The,
so hard
the,
in the early stages.
except from Kirillov, the Volvo seems to be struggling with the front tires using, and Paul Apam is pitting. So the first pit,
Wow. So Ricardo, the prophecy is true. I guess Pirin might might help. We don't know for sure. I mean, as much as the viewers, we haven't driven this car. I mean, I don't know if you did, Ricardo. Have you?
sorry, I
Uh,
wasn't. I was looking
uh,
at Kirillov because
Ooh,
he was.
you're not. You definitely excuse Ricardo because watching the style of the way Kirov drives is so smooth and elegant. Actually, I think he wants to preserve his tires for the maximum amount of. Probably he's thinking of not pitting at all because we see Paul Apen pitting, but it could be for damage. It could be for anything else because he's
Absolutely.
probably.
I think he can because you have like 7 seconds from the guy behind. So I really think that he can like slow the pace a bit and watch his tires.
I mean, if the pit is 30
And
seconds, which is minimum, Ricardo, I believe he will be put back all the way back to P6. So he has to think this over if he really wants to pit, especially we got 19 minutes more to go. I'm not sure if he can make up all those places.
yeah, I don't really think we are going to see any pits for tire changing. 45 minutes. I mean, 45 minutes is pretty pretty easy to be done with these cars. Ooh, but
Look at that.
it's fun to see that the Volvo guys right now, as Osama and Cartwright, are having problems of overheating on one lap, and probably they are forced to slow down. And the other lap, they look so much smoother than before.
That's
So
exactly what I
probably,
spoke about, Ricardo. It's the consistency here that is a problem for Osama. I've been with the guy. Oh, look at that! Speaking of which, man, I should keep my mouth shut down, Ricardo. I think.
and Cartwright, yeah, Cartwright did the move.
I mean, that was more like I'll take it from here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think the guy that is cheering right now is Oscar, because he just flown away.
Yeah, he definitely. This was a scramble because a lot of positions were swapped back and forth, and it turned out that the boss guy took all the advantage from this and went for his P3. So I don't know if we're gonna see it in one more battle. I think. I
I
think
think
what
yes,
I hope
looking
so.
Fidigas versus Apam,
And a
because
penalty
Fidigas
for
is good.
Nani. Look at that. I'm not sure what's the penalty for. We'll definitely investigate that. A
I
penalty for Nani.
I should think. I think about truck limits.
That could be, but where exactly? Because I haven't seen him cutting. Maybe where he were overdrive and it was considered a track limit since
Oh,
he didn't.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I think this is the end for
here's
Osama podium hopes probably. And let's see
we'll
if
check the penalty. The penalty received. It's gonna be a drive-through, and that's
yeah.
for
So
track
yeah,
limits.
yeah.
Wow. He actually got it before in the qualifying. So, and he got a stop and go. Now he's got a drive through, and he just
Yeah,
served it.
probably it was not of too much on the steering car. That's why he had such problems.
Check Paul Apham with two purple sectors, finally showing his clothes, getting his elbows out, as they say, especially when Brands Hatch. He's trying to actually build up his pace. He's got 16 minutes to go. I don't know what you can do with that, but the pace, actually, the gap isn't that far if you want to make up some position, is it?
I mean, it's
On the
how
fastest
much?
lap.
17 seconds behind Michael Labelle. I think he can do it. At least getting Labelle. Well, I should check how much. Sorry, 5 seconds. So APAM right now is 5 seconds faster per lap than Michael Labelle.
That is, he 100% will do it if he keep up this pace. But keep in mind, he could have pushed so hard on his tires, or that could be his pace. Let's keep you in mind, everybody, that Paul Apham is now classified as the third fastest guy
And
before, or sorry, after
now, now,
Kirill and Phil Brown.
now sorry to interrupting you, but 33,686 is 6 tenths from the pole lap of Kirillov. So APAM right now is matching like the quali times.
That's exactly, yeah. He's pushing too hard, I believe, or he just was preserving. Now it's hammer time.
And I think I think I,
And Labelle
oh,
went
and
off.
Labelle made a mistake, so I probably think that
And there
yeah,
goes
there
Paul.
goes.
Says, I appreciate that. Have a wonderful day. And obviously, he is not.
So Apam probably got the jolly with changing the tires because he
Yeah,
can now push for a full 15 minutes.
and thank to the our Sam director. Look at that purple because he got it once again. So he improved on his first sector, Ricardo. That is great.
Yeah, it was improving. Now it made at 34.3, so 7 tenths is lower. So probably overheating the tires like
A
hell.
lot, absolutely.
So everyone right now is lapping from 2 to 4 seconds slower than Paul Apam. So Apam really may have drawn the jolly from the cards.
There's a secret to be known after this race, and if Paul decides to, I mean, we have to first of all see if he can keep this pace up all the way to the end, and second of all, if he has a secret, then I'm sure this could have been a great race for him, if not of the scrambles that happened. Look at him pushing this car to the limit.
Look at that. He's crushing. He's giving everything.
He's definitely is. I mean, he's closer to Mark Hightree, who himself actually isn't that far behind, 2 seconds behind Usama Nani. Usama Nani is having a lot of trouble today. I'm not sure if the mental thing of losing all the way from P2 down to P6 plays the role. The guy is pretty experienced, so I believe that's not the case. It's mostly the damage the car has, or the tires, the suffering of the tire he has, the degradation that could play the big role in losing so many positions and not keeping that consistency as good as it should be.
Yeah, I really think the problem was that it was keep sliding through the whole truck. We were looking at him, and the thing I noticed was that he was looking at that again on the grass. I really think that Osama had a very fast setup, probably a bit too slidey. And if you slide and slide and slide after corner after corner after corner, that brings you to use too much the tires because you keep sliding, and overheating them. And overheat mean more consumption. So probably that's what happened to Osama.
Exactly, because when you overheat, you consume even more, and the less and the more degradation, it gets faster. So you degrade even more faster. So that's what because people think it's more of a linear way, but it actually goes down so quickly the more you burn it down.
Yeah,
And
it's like a dog eating his own tail.
exactly. I mean, to be honest, Ricardo, something I had to mention to you since you're a BTCC OG fan. I wish there was the Laguna here, a car absolutely I adore.
Yeah, amazing car, winning car. I don't remember if they win any championships.
They could have, but
But
when I think they got sent to the Shadow Realm, I forgot by
yeah,
whom, but there was a
uh,
race where they could have won it, but then they was sent to the Shadow Realm.
yeah, because they had two incredible drivers. One is Jason Plato, which is still racing in BTCC, probably, and the other one was Alain Menu, another beautiful and amazing driver on the touring cars, which was one of the top drivers even in WTCC. Um, and so we got the information that if Paul Heyman can keep his pace for the next 8 laps, he will be able to catch both Hightree and Osama Khan. I don't know if he has 8 laps. I don't really know about that. But he's flying right now.
I think the secrets of front wheel drive, and I'm not trying to be a nerd, the secret is keeping your tire to an optimum temperature because if you overheat them, you're basically done. Especially with the experience we had, me, Ricardo. Oh, Paul Apham! We weren't even speaking about him. Said that's not a commentator curse. We are clean, you and I, Ricardo. That was absolutely Paul's fault. Look at that, lost it right there. What happened?
I think he touched the grass with the back on the exit.
You
Yeah,
can't afford that.
it was pushing a lot. It was pushing probably out of the. I think he has damage. Yeah.
I like the ambition, but that was too ambitious.
I mean, that was kind of hard driving, That was something you want to see when a race is so spread. Something who tries at least to shake things up. It was a pity that he made a mistake, but thank you, Paul, for giving us like 10 minutes of fire.
Yeah, I was looking forward if he's gonna make that up. I mean, he has 10 minutes. We just crossed it as we watch in VD Guest right now. Skidding that front plate. I mean, I think he could probably still make it because he didn't get that a lot of damage. The damage was mostly on the back. You probably need that for stabilization, but I believe he can
I don't know
probably
if
reach.
the front. I think he hit the front.
He did the front. So thank you for correcting that, Ricardo, because it was just out of the sudden, and I don't want to lose hope yet. 9 more minutes, and how judging by how fast he's going, I think he can do it. Don't you think, Ricardo?
I don't know. I mean, he lost a lot of time there. He has to. Yeah, I don't think
We
he
gotta
has.
see his lap. We probably gotta see this lap, and we can. Not this one because actually it is this one that we
No,
gotta
this
check
one, this
out
one.
because
Yeah,
he didn't crush the line, did he?
but he lost at least five or
Probably did. He
five
probably
or
did.
6 seconds, probably.
But let's see if this lap is gonna be any close. If he stays in the high 33s or the low 34s, he definitely got a big chance. Unless the
No,
guys
no,
ahead,
definitely not. Definitely no. Let's see. I think it's at
yeah, is way
36,
too far.
37.
That is
Yeah,
way too far.
37 probably.
Well,
Yeah, I
it was
think
fun
he's.
while it lasted, I believe.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Paul, for giving us 10 minutes of fire as we speak.
Ooh, loses a
Llewellyn, Phil
position.
Brown,
Actually,
no,
that's
Phil Brown, so it's lap car,
it's a
lapping.
lap car indeed. So we were not right in his obituary. It was just that a small mistake. I mean, you saw in sprint races, you have to be on point. I mean, I get that the mind only has 30 minutes of full focus, especially when you're racing, but 45 minutes you gotta push the limit. When I say that, I don't mean pushing your tires. I mean keeping your mind as awake as possibly can be to not make that mistake. It's not just about being fast, but also to keep your mental awareness as aware as possible.
Yeah, I mean, even in a 2 hour race, I mean, in races that are shorter than like 6 hours or more, um, I think that every mistake is difficult to repair. Because if you lose like one lap in a, let's say in a 12 hours race, if you lose one lap, then it's no problem. You can get back, you can catch up, because anything can happen to another guy. In 45 minutes, I mean, everything can always happen to everyone, but um, a mistake is difficult to repair. So you have to be very, you have to push at 100% because the time you have is short. You have to be fast instantly, and you have to be very consistent because so sprint races are very difficult. Um, Not difficult as an endurance race. Because in an endurance race you have to think of a lot of things, uh, but probably due to the stress of the driver, a sprint race is always very hard and very difficult.
Absolutely true, Ricardo. As we see someone we haven't talked about that much, which he well deserves that, deserves all the attention. Kirill is absolutely killing it. I mean, he proves to be why he's a four-time champion in SimRacing Online. With all the stats he has, he's definitely proven it right now. He's got the fastest time overall done in this server in this track right now with the 33.0. And that is correct, 33.0, the fastest so far, fastest by that half a second of everyone else. Absolutely dominating right now. As we see Phil Brown also doing a great job keeping up the game. Ooh, as we touches
Yeah,
that, I believe that's part of the apex, so there's no harm done right there. But he's definitely
yeah,
doing a
that's
great job.
kind of the understeer. He tries to keep the speed through the corner. Probably was like going on the throttle and lifting just to make the car turn a bit more. And Bosca, with uh, he was very smart to stay close to the guys in front to cut right Nani, and then he seemed to be to have managed the tires better because cut right and just fall away, and Osama Nani made a bit two mistakes. He could have probably matched Brown pace, but yeah, it was a bit unconstant as you were saying before.
At some stages, Ricardo, he was actually even closer or matching Kirill in the first stages of the race. So, if not of those, I would call them consistency mistakes. You wouldn't say that word, but a mistake that was included because of the lack of consistency. He could have actually had a bigger shot of probably changing the outcome of this race. But I believe It's the first race. People are getting used to the car. Usama Nani drives all type of cars, from open wheels to Jeep to Grand Touring, every type of car. So I'm sure he will get the hang of these cars and start
Yeah,
smashing it once and more.
absolutely. The starting of the race, Kirillov seemed to be not on his 100%, and I think he's not driving at 100% right now because first of all he doesn't need to, and second of all, he was really smart in the tire management. Osama was trying to push. I think if Kirillov wanted, he could have pushed a bit more. Um, that's the sensation I had when I was looking the first lap as probably
Ooh,
Taylor
look at that.
went very wide.
With 3 minutes to go, something you wouldn't want to do right now, would you?
No, absolutely not. But in Robert Taylor is not in the fight with the car in the back because the car in the back is high tree. So
Indeed,
yeah,
Kirill is absolutely killing this race. But let's keep in mind that we got 13 cars, one that DNF'd. The sign up there were 15 people, so we got two missing people. So that shows that people are interested and from who registered actually. So if you got 15 and almost 80% or more than 80%
yeah.
comes in, that shows that people actually who the one who loves this
Actually,
series.
actually, I think we lost Sami in the before the race.
We did lose because of connection issues. I
Oh,
believe,
that's bad.
Ricardo, can you correct me on this? I believe after the patch, R Factor 2 allows you to rejoin the race, doesn't it?
Uh,
Yeah,
I
but I believe that you could join your car and get back to racing, or is it considered a DNF? I believe, since if
I
it
don't
happens.
really know because as I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, my wheel decided to give away uh, to give up just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm waiting for the new one. So as I was waiting, I didn't have the possibility to drive and try the new features of RF2. So I don't really know that. Sorry, guys. Um, uh, yeah, the thing I know
Well,
is that you don't
yeah.
have to download every car on this
Actually,
mod,
not
for
it's
example.
not download, Ricardo, but you have to download, but you don't have to purchase every car with just one car you can join. But the mod you're watching right now is absolutely free. The track is
Yeah,
free. All you need is the
check it
game.
on the workshop. It's like the top three right now on the on the Steam Workshop or of R Factor 2. I don't know if the truck is a mod or is the official one. Probably.
It's on the
Oh,
SRO
so it's a
website,
mod. So
as
it's on
our
it's a
director
mod.
mentioned.
Because remember that Brands Hatch, we have this one is a mod because SimRacing Online tries to every time to give people and a mistake there. Why Taylor made a mistake on probably the final lap. Yeah, SimRacing Online guys tries to give every content of their championship is free, so you can just come check the website, join the race, and have fun. So that's amazing.
Well, as we reach the final stages of the race with 30 seconds to go, this will be the last lap for Kiriv. Race started beautiful for him. Stayed first, led every lap. Was a little bit pushed or not pushed, but the presence of Osami could have got or changed or converted to a battle of the first, but that didn't happen because Osama obviously saw. Everyone saw what happened. If he didn't, Osama lost control because he touched the grass and a lot of positions were swapped. But so far, Kirill is leading his car or selling his way to the finish line to collect the
It's
first
it's
win of this series.
it's impressive to see the balance of his setup. Look how less is how poor is his steering angle.
Indeed,
It's not.
it looks like what he's
Look at
doing is
this. Look at
right.
this. It's not steering at all. I mean,
I believe he did a simulation, and I believe he knew for a fact that driving. That's what we saw. His first few laps weren't that fast, and that was he actually preserving his tires, driving it so carefully, and it paid off really
I,
big
I think
as he's about to cross
I
two
think
more
that's what you
corners.
call I think that's what you call a Grand Chelem. Paul, at, at, at oh he
He
did,
didn't
yeah, he
get the
didn't got the
fastest lap.
fast lap
Yes,
because the
but
fastest lap is Paul April. So he
he
just
crossed.
a bit of
He's almost across, Ricardo. So let's get ready for the celebration that's going to happen right now. The lead
Kirkilo
first position
winning
goes to Kiriv,
and
and
Phil
none
Brown
but not least
in a
Phil
solid
Brown.
race.
Absolutely. I think he didn't finish yet. He got one, or he is in
Last
his
corner,
way.
yeah,
A
yeah,
last corner.
solid race by Phil Brown. Very very good. Didn't match the probably didn't have the same uh, tire management and pace of Kirillov, but that was a good race, especially because it was involved with Osama at the first stages. So it was cold blooded to stay calm and wait. Very good. And another cold blooded driver, Bosga, who waited for the best chance to push and fly away from Nani and Cartwright. Then Cartwright
Absolutely.
made a mistake. Oh, Cartwright DNF'd.
He will not lose the position, as we've been told. So he will stay P5. Usama Nani will take P4. I believe it was the other way. I believe Usama Nani was P5. So I believe because of the
Yeah,
lap
yeah.
time, Usama got promoted to a place as. So Usama stays in P4 and Bosga now in
Another
P3.
mistake by Osama. Look at that.
And Mark Heitry, I believe, already finished or crossed the line when the leader did, as well as Tim, Paul Apham as well, and Michael Labelle, I believe. And so the cars we have
Mr.
now is Usama
Winham
Nani,
and
or
Winham
sorry, Winham.
to close the. Yeah, Winham is still
I believe that
on the
everybody
lap.
finished.
Oh, he finished.
Everybody
Sorry.
finished. What a great race! What Um, a turnaround of event, something we didn't expect. Obviously, with the performance of Kirill, or the what I mentioned before, a four-time champion, we knew that he was the most. I would I would say the guy that we expected to get to snatch the win today, and with which he did. He was almost close to what a Grand Chelem, if I'm said it correctly, and
Yeah,
then that didn't happen because he didn't get the fastest lap. Who got it actually was Paul Apham, if I'm correct. And
with a 10 minutes of fire before he is.
indeed,
Before
as
he's
the guys are chatting right now, saying congrats and GG's and see you next round and all that. Actually, if you want to take part of this, get the mods, go to simracingonline.co.uk, make a free account. All the mod is there, register and join and have fun. People
yeah,
are
the more people, the more the
respectful.
fun.
Absolutely right, Ricardo. The more people, the more fun. As we see the results, Kirill takes the first place in our Brands Hatch first race of the series, followed by Phil Brown, solid performance in P2, followed in P3. Bosga did a great race to snatch that P3 all the way from Usama, and Usama Nani now gets promoted at the final stages of the race to P4, followed by Tim in P5, Mark P6, Paul Apham with the fastest lap of the race in P7, Michael Labelle, solid performance today, not too shabby, P8, and a DNF, I believe, or sorry if I'm not mistaken, it is a DNF for Tim, Mark 3, P10, and I believe I'm getting confused here, Ricardo.
No.
Now,
After Lavelle, there's Vidi Gas, who was on the middle pack, into the middle pack. Vidi
indeed,
Gas, but he had a mistake, and then his race was a bit difficult on P9, P10 for Stephen Winham. Nice job on the top 10. And we have the DNF of Robin Taylor, which was P11, so probably he was very far away. So after the accident, he probably decided to Opov. And Anthony Hilton was doing a very good race, and he DNF'd. I don't know if for an accident or for connection issue. We Sam told me so. Nice race, was fun, especially the starting part. The first like 10-15 minutes were incredibly intense. Then the field spread up, but probably because some accident and some problems with the tires. I don't. I can just make some hypotheses, But very good race. Hope you had fun,
absolutely.
guys.
It was a lot. It was an awesome race. The next round is going to be in Knock Hill. Obviously, as Lorenzo mentioned, this is
Oh,
a 6 round race. Knock
Knock
Hill. We got. Sorry, what's
Knuckle
that?
would be fun. It's very
Absolutely.
short circuit.
I'm looking forward
Probably,
to that.
yeah, probably the lap will be under the minute, so everyone is going to be incredibly close.
It's going to be a close jump back indeed. And after that, it's going to be Birmingham Super Prix, a Silverstone 91, Donington GP, and
As Sam
Folkestone.
is showing us the Nissan Primera, I don't know if you guys can see it.
And that is the Nissan Primera indeed. Look at that beautiful, shiny thing. Obviously, if you look at that car, the livery is well done, made by
Yeah,
Castrol. The lighting, I
actually,
like it.
actually, this car was the winning car of the championship, the BTCC in 1998 or 99, probably 99. Yeah, I don't remember if 98 or 99, but one of those two years where we both the driver and constructor championship. So great cars.
Absolutely. A lot of cars. I wish there was the Laguna, like I said, Ricardo. That's one of my favorites, especially when I was playing the game. It
Yeah,
was a lot. It was my favorite.
I hope even the amazing Audi
The
A4.
Audi. Oh my God, Lorenzo. Sorry, 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 Ricardo. That was actually beautiful too. I enjoyed that. I loved it so much. And yeah, well, we got 3 cars. It seems like the Volvo is the reign of the king for now. And I don't know. Let's see if somebody else can take a Nissan to a top position, maybe a
Yeah,
top five. I don't know.
if the if I can get my new wheel soon, I would probably do a race because I want to.
Wow.
Because I want to. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Just a couple of reminders. Check us on Racing Team. Join our Discord if you want. Check even the Sim Racing Online section of for the championships because other than BTCC they have a lot of more championship going on. We have the Port GT4. We still have it. I don't remember. Sorry.
Yes, we do.
We Yeah, we do. So perfect. We have the Kart 1990. So another amazing championship and a lot more stuff coming on. They run on different simulators like Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione, R Factor 2, Project Cars 2. So a lot of races and a lot of platform if you want to. And just a quick reminder, if you guys are interested in having a livery, check us on Fiverr too. Um, check out for us on Ita Racing Team on Fiverr to have your custom livery. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Awesome liveries, done well made. Go check them out. Every livery that is ordered and can be seen and looked at, and you can get your inspiration if you want something. But yeah, definitely check that out. Don't forget to go simracingonline.co.uk. Their YouTube channel as well. All the VODs are stored there. Don't forget to leave us a follow. Subscribe if you feel like it. It definitely helps and helps this stream keeps going and helps the community as well. Indeed, big thank you to VD Guest for the opportunity. Big thank you to everybody who took part to be a part of this championship, and obviously big thank you to everyone who
we
watched
actually
us.
have John. We actually have John joining the
And
chat.
there you go, the man, the head of the table right here. How do you do with my man, John?
You didn't see me, did you?
I did see you
No,
for
I heard
once.
you. I heard you joining, so I come
You
back
were
to
so
you.
busy talking about my disaster.
No, no, no. It was a nice race, John. So how do you feel with the car?
Well, I will do a quick word because I hear that you were rounding up.
Absolutely, take your time, John,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I saw you for once and you left. So go ahead, John. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so the question was, what did I think about the car? Uh, well, uh, apparently I didn't test it enough because now that I've driven it, I feel like it's a converted lawnmower.
Wow,
It's front wheel drive, so it's kind of different on what you were used to.
Absolutely, man. Because look, I'm used to GT cars, rear wheel drives, and now I only rarely drive front wheel drive. So a rear wheel drive pushes the car, and a front wheel drive pulls the car. And I don't know how to set that up.
Yeah, you have to point the car on the front. To be honest,
Yeah. Well,
to
Phil
limit
Brown and Kirill definitely found some magic in the car because they were
I
flying.
mean, Kirill
Yeah,
was just killing it. Absolutely fantastic
Yeah,
race, friend.
Kirillov seemed very sharp.
but I had so much understeer in the car, even
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
setup changes I did. So I
Because
was trying.
remember,
Yeah,
guys, that this car doesn't have neither TC or ABS, so it's
no.
not that easy.
Well, halfway through the race, I couldn't even turn the car anymore without backing off completely to make the apex. So I did two basic mistakes in the beginning. So I was counting on the car to rotate to turn to the apex, but it went just straight. And then the third time I got stuck in the gravel for about 30 seconds. So I thought,
Oh
well,
wow.
I'm
Yeah,
yeah, okay, you missed that. So I thought,
yeah.
well, I'm hosting the series. I can't leave. I have to finish.
You took,
Well,
But that
you
was,
we
swallowed your
actually
pride, John, didn't you?
I
we
swallowed my pride indeed.
we actually had it right on live, the little the little drifting you had. So sorry, John,
Yeah.
by that. But we had it on live. Just confirm us one thing.
But
We thought that the front left was the most dangerous part of the front left tire was the worst part of the tire management. Okay, you agree
well,
with that, or
no, because the entire car was shit.
Oh my. Straightforward.
Well, I'll tell you something. I just checked in the middle of the race how my tires were, and I saw that the front tires were both yellow and the rear tires were still green, and there was
yeah,
only 50 minutes to go or so. So I thought, well, 50 minutes to go, yellow tires. I don't have
it,
to look anymore. So
it's
that
kind of
was that.
typical with front wheel drive.
Yeah. So, but I did have a little battle with Monsieur Labelle at the end. So I almost caught him, and I went straight on in turn 3 or 4, I think, and I went off the track, and I had to do it all again. And just when I was almost at his rear bumper, it was the final lap, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Do
But
you
Yeah,
believe,
he,
John, that this car actually, if driven slowly, can preserve the tires, or that wouldn't help anyway? Because we saw that Kiriv started in a slower pace, which actually Usama was getting closer to him, but the rest of the remaining of the races, the race, he kept a big lead and finished comfortably, and his pace actually never changed.
I believe you because, to my astonishment, so when I was all the way back in the field, I thought, well, I'll just cruise until the finish. So I drove slower, and then I saw at the times that it was actually going faster. So when I took my foot off the throttle and slowed down a bit and made all the apexes more easily, my lap times improved actually. So you're absolutely right about it. Yeah.
Indeed, John. I mean, we've had an experience with that. Me, Lorenzo, and I think it was me and Lorenzo. He was the engineer. I was the driver. So we've had a similar experience, and we
Oh,
learned
you
that
were
the
driving.
hard way.
Yeah. What was the race for you guys to broadcast? Was it fun?
It was absolutely fun. It was
yeah.
interesting, John, because this mod is one of the best mod that people need to look at and enjoy it. I believe the more people we have, the more fun it will get. Especially, I mean, the field got separated at the end, but the first stages, or I believe the first only stage of the race, it was absolutely fun.
You were like
Seeing,
6 or 7 people fighting in the
Yeah.
train. So
Yeah. It's
I
a
agree
uh,
with that.
difficult car to
I
drive.
would
So
say this, if I can. Maybe not the mandatory pit stop, but a shorter race, like half an hour. I don't know if can be changing, but don't
that's a
know.
good idea. I will
Hmm.
put it in the forum, and if they all agree, I will bring it down to half an hour because maybe 45 minutes is a bit too long.
It could
Yeah,
be, yes,
because
it could be.
usually this car, like in real life, drive like for 25-30 minutes, I think.
Yeah, but you also have the endurance BTCC. So you have half an
Yeah, yeah.
hour, and you have also 1 hour races. So I kind of took the middle of that and did 45 minutes.
I
Yeah.
believe 30 is the more fitting one. Or have two races, small races. I mean, John, you the head of the table. It's
I
you know better than me.
will propose 30 minutes and see what they say.
Absolutely, John.
Definitely.
Nothing
So
more
Okay,
but the dissection.
guys, have a good one.
thank you for coming, John.
We
Thank you,
appreciate the
thank you for
company.
broadcasting. Huh? Yeah, it's been a while. My
We,
show is actually getting better.
And yeah, we are
good
happy
to
that
hear
you
that.
fully recovered from your injury.
Hmm. I
Good
have
to
to
hear
stop
that, John.
falling off my bike.
Oh yes, yeah. That's. I don't think that's gonna ever happen, John.
it,
Using your
it
bike.
has
Sorry,
happened
using your
several
bike, not
times.
falling off your bike. Using the bike. Sorry, I
Well,
was misunderstood.
I'm not stupid. I don't just fall off my bike because it's Holland, you know. It's
Yeah.
always in the winter time when there's ice on the road and snow, and then when I
Yes.
just when I think like racing, oh, I can go a bit tilted through this corner, so with a bit
Yes.
of bit of an angle, then I hit an ice patch and bang, there I
Oh
go.
my. Yeah. You should have checked the tire pressure, John. Silly. That was silly.
Definitely.
Yeah, and the steering rotation.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad
Definitely.
setup. Bad setup, John.
And that's it. Okay, guys.
Indeed.
See you
Anyway,
later.
thanks for coming,
Absolutely,
John.
John. Have a good one.
Hope you see you again.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Well, as you heard from the man himself, great. We're happy. He's made a great recovery. He's joined us again. It was fun. The series was fun. We appreciate everybody. Like I said before, the viewers who makes this a great. I hope everybody gets to open eyes and see this series and how it is and how fun it is. You can
Absolutely.
from now on go to YouTube, search it up yourself, and you will see great, interesting things. I don't want to spoil it out right now. And
Absolutely. And
other than
remember,
that,
next
yeah.
race is on next Saturday,
It
actually.
is March 11 indeed. That is correct, Ricardo. Uh, Thank you, Ricardo, for being with me today. Thanks to Lorenzo. Thanks to Sam for enduring all of our orders over
Our
there of
mover
changing that and
director.
changing this. Indeed.
Um,
So appreciate that. And we appreciate everybody else. Forgot. I hope I didn't forget anything, but that is indeed. Don't forget to leave us a follow, and we will be here next time. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.